Jennifer Lopez is literally the meanest celebrity ever. Just because she has fame and money, she thinks she can treat people however she wants, but in reality, she's just rude and mean. Now, one of her backup singers took to TikTok to expose the star, saying, "If you were pretty or you were a Latina, like game over, she hated you. She just acted like a bully." Can you imagine spending time with someone working in a closed setting every day for months, and this person never even acknowledging you or acting like you exist? She was that rude to people working for her. Not to mention, several of J.Lo's former staff members have come out to say that Jennifer earned herself the nickname Pay-Lo because she paid her staff around 50% less than they could make elsewhere. Then there was also the incident in 2003 when Jennifer was spotted in Vegas with her then boyfriend Ben Affleck. The pair had a big win and Ben decided to drop a $2,000 tip to the dealer, but before he could scoop up the generous reward, J.Lo snatched up the cash and swapped it for $200 instead. Then there was also the time when she got a maid fired from her job. Jennifer was staying at the Mila Dusseldorf in Germany, and a maid working at the hotel Pre Doja approached the diva's room to get an autograph. Now, she spoke with J.Lo's assistant, who denied her to see the star. The next morning though, Pre was fired. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired there right on the phone because of an autograph." Now that is just messed up. Was it maybe inappropriate for her to ask for an autograph then? Yeah, but she shouldn't have been fired for it. But J.Lo made sure that's exactly what happened. Now, J.Lo's also been accused of stealing music and certain songs. One big hit from one of her albums was If You Had My Love, but the song received backlash from R&B singer Shantae Moore, as Moore had a near identical song called If I Gave Love, recorded a year prior in 1998. Now, one of J.Lo's worst offenses is the fact that she takes other people's vocals and passes them off as her own, without even giving them credit. Songs like Play and the I'm Real remix feature prominent reference track vocals from Christina Milian and Ashanti. For Jennifer and Ja Rule's music video for the I'm Real remix, J.Lo reused Ashanti's reference track vocals on the song and passed them off as her own. Now, instead of J.Lo re-recording the song, she left the demo vocals on the song, and she failed to credit Milian or Ashanti. Now, the worst offender is J.Lo's signature song, Jenny from the Block, as Natasha Ramos sings the track's chorus, bridge, and ad-libs. Now, J.Lo has also been accused of lip-syncing. Now, my question is, does she even know how to sing? She's gone on and ripped off other celebrities for their talent, but it seems like she doesn't really have any. Miley Cyrus has just been called out and cancelled for being rude to her own fans. Now, what happened? Well, Miley was having a meet and greet and pretty much ignored everyone. Now, Miley held a fan signing event to celebrate the release of her new single, Every Girl You've Ever Loved, for the singer's Something Beautiful film. Now, her friend Naomi Campbell was present too, and the pair were signing vinyls for their collaboration. But both celebrities were slammed for ignoring their fans and doing a meet and greet with each other. In fan-taken footage of the event, Miley was seen chatting with Naomi while greeting fans and signing the vinyls. Fans reported that they were disappointed with everything that happened, as Miley was talking to Naomi and not the fans, and this resulted in poor quality photos where the stars were often not looking at the camera at all. Now, afterwards, Miley made an Instagram post and thanked her fans and told those who missed it to go buy the vinyl. Fans called out the star in the comments though, with one person saying sorry to everyone who went to get a photo with them talking to one another, and another Instagram user wrote, "The way you ignored your fans, LOL." On Twitter, many attendees shared photos and videos of their interactions with the two stars, which caused even more criticism. You pay for a meet and greet and you meet Miley Cyrus, and she totally ignores you because she's busy chatting with Naomi Campbell. Now, one attendee shared a photo of them posing alongside the stars, but Naomi was looking down and Miley was not yet smiling. And this isn't the first time in recent weeks where Miley had upset her fans. At the beginning of June, Miley's Something Beautiful film film premiered at the 2025 Tribeca Film Festival. Now, it was a film based off her album, but it seems like some fans didn't realize that that's what the tickets they bought were for. Yes, fans were shocked that they were seeing a film at a film festival, as many thought the tickets were for a performance or a concert. Now, after the premiere, Miley appeared at a Q&A session, and during the post-screening conversation on stage, several fans began loudly complaining about the fact that Miley was not going to perform live, with social media clips showing one proclaiming, "We thought this was a concert, we paid $800. Are you actually going to sing?" shouted another person, while the event's hosts attempted to calm the disruption by pointing out that the screening was a part of a film festival. Now, Miley, though, tried to make it up to her fans by singing an a cappella version of her 2009 hit, The Climb. Now, fans online were outraged as they felt scammed by the star and were angry, calling the event false advertising. But then a lot of people on the internet called out these so-called fans, saying that they were acting entitled and rude, and that they should have paid more attention to what they were buying, and to not blame and heckle Miley on a night that was supposed to be perfect for her. Recently, a clip has resurfaced of J.Lo, and it has gone viral. The clip in question, well, she spits her gum into her assistant's hand. Yeah, and that's not only rude, but it's honestly just gross. It seems like in between takes while filming a movie, she wanted to have fresher breath, so she started chewing some gum. But when the cameras are ready to roll again, she can't have it, so instead of asking for a tissue or disposing of the gum herself, she has her assistant come over and cup her hands, while J.Lo leans over and spits out her gum. A 2024 clip from the Met Gala went viral for Jennifer, but it was for all the wrong reasons. In a clip shared on TikTok, USA Today reporter Anika Reed was on the famous Met stairs when she innocently asked J.Lo, who was one of the co-chairs that year, "Who are you wearing tonight?" as she walks past. Now, J.Lo barely looked at her and gave a monotone answer of "Chaparli," while she continued to go up the stairs, ignoring every other reporter waiting to talk to her. Now, people in the comments were quick to call out Jennifer for her rude behavior. One user said, "Ew, why does she have that attitude?" Yeah, fans weren't too happy with the singer's behavior at all. Now, before J.Lo and Ben Affleck got divorced, she wrote a whole album and made a movie based on their love story. Here's the thing though, she also made a documentary about all of this, but the doc was actually named after a scrapbook that Ben gifted Jennifer for Christmas in 2021, stacked with every letter and email they'd written to each other over the last 20 years. Now, Jennifer showed the book to her producers and songwriters on the first day of making her new album, without asking or even telling Ben. "It became like our Bible," she says in the doc. "We just left it in the studio, and this revelation comes within the first 5 minutes of the doc, and right out of the gate, Ben isn't shy about his discomfort." Ben shared that he was taken aback when Jen shared with songwriters the private love letters he wrote to her to serve as inspiration for her upcoming album, This Is Me Now. Later on, he says, "Things that are private, I always felt are sacred and special, because in part, they're private." And J.Lo was also spotted being rude to the paparazzi and her fans. It seems like she came out of a store and everyone was waiting for her. She started to do a paparazzi walk, but was not smiling at all and was pretty much ignoring fans. Now, in the video, she continually says, "Please leave," but continues to pose for photos. Now, after one of the paps asks her a question, she turns away angrily and heads back to her car. As they follow her, she says, "That's enough, you got your pictures," and said that it's hard to love these people as they always mob her. Now, it's not her best look, and some claim she may have been having an off day, but she was definitely giving mixed signals and didn't have to be so rude, especially to all her loving fans.
Lindsay Lohan, she had everything going for her as a child star, but her transition from a freckled-faced Disney kid to full-blown adult was difficult to say the least. A DUI arrest that happened in May of 2006 2007 was the beginning of the end for the celeb, as what followed immediately after was a string of more misdemeanors and missed court dates. Lohan's public meltdowns caused her to get less and less movie roles, and between car accidents, accusations of theft, multiple stays in rehab, and even a brief time in jail, she remained the paparazzi's top target and the public's biggest fascination at the time. She has very recently had the comeback of the century, so kudos to her, and here's hoping it sticks. Amanda Bynes, as the star of her own Nickelodeon show and her roles in countless teen comedies, she was seen as the bubbly girl next door and a promising actress on her rise to superstardom. However, in March of 2012, she had some very public meltdowns as she got a DUI and was also charged with possession of illicit substances. Now, her personal appearance also drastically started changing, and rumors were fueled that she had undergone botched plastic surgery. If that wasn't enough, her social media presence also became increasingly bizarre. On Twitter, she said some very vulgar things about Drake, and in May of 2013, she was seen throwing a glass smoking device out of the 36th floor window of her New York apartment. She was then hospitalized in a mental health facility and then later released into the care of her parents, who were granted conservatorship over her affairs. Britney Spears, this teen pop star who got her first kick on the Mickey Mouse Club along fellow stars like Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling, was arguably the biggest superstar in the world in the late 90s and early 2000s. But by 2004, when she married twice in a 9-month span, first to friend Jason Alexander and next to her backup dancer Kevin Federline, that was the start of the fall. As she started her family, Spears was hounded by paparazzi and accused of everything from negligent parenting to substance dependency issues, and a day after walking out of rehab, she experienced a very public meltdown as we watched her shave her head bald in 2007 and attack paparazzi with an umbrella. The courts then placed Britney under the conservatorship of her father, Jamie Spears, and it wasn't until just a couple years ago that she was released from it after the whole Free Britney movement. Although her recent behavior online suggests to many that that may have been a mistake to have her released. Demi Lovato. From the beginning, Demi was a little edgy for the Disney Channel that employed her, but they made it work. After co-starring in the camp rock movies with the Jonas Brothers and releasing 2 solo albums, rumors quickly began to surface of her using illegal substances and getting in fights with people on set. In October of 2010, Demi reportedly punched a backup dancer while on tour and withdrew tour dates to go into treatment for substance use. Now, she did re-emerge alongside Britney Spears as a judge on the show X Factor, but that was short-lived as she had allegedly relapsed shortly after that, and finally did an MTV documentary-style interview where she actually spoke openly and quite frankly about her issues and continuing recovery journey. Aaron Carter. If you know the Backstreet Boys, you'll know the late Aaron Carter. BSB's fan base was so popular that anyone associated with them would be able to easily gain that notoriety as well. Well, Nick Carter's younger brother Aaron was able to start and boost his career to platinum heights at such a young age. Aaron quickly became involved in a media frenzy when he was caught up in a love triangle with Lindsay Lohan and Hilary Duff. Now, as he became older, things started to take a turn and we started to see him spiral. He actually was arrested and charged with a DUI in 2017, and by 2019 his overall health was at a low, and his brother Aaron actually obtained a temporary restraining order against Aaron because he allegedly made threats to him. The most public meltdown though was when he actually appeared on the daytime show The Doctors and revealed that he had been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, schizophrenia, acute anxiety, and manic depression. He had a child in 2021, and sadly 1 year later on November 5th, 2022, he passed away at the age of 34, so rest in peace. Selena Gomez, the Wizards of Waverly Place and Disney starlet turned singer slash superstar, has been famous and in the headlines for one reason or the other in the past 2 decades, but she started to rebel in her own ways the older she got, and it seems to have started, after she starred in the 2013 film Spring Breakers, because by 2014, she canceled tours and was checked into an Arizona rehab facility for 2 weeks. Fast forward to just recently in January of 2025, Selena had a seemingly public meltdown as she faced backlash for sobbing over ICE arrests in 2 now deleted videos. Now, upon receiving a ton of backlash and deleting the post, she then shared a follow-up post on her Instagram where she wrote, "Apparently, it's not okay to show empathy for people." However, she deleted that post also. Most of the fans, reactions were of the consensus that Selena crying on film was not going to help any family affected, and were upset that she waited until it was too late to show empathy. Charlie Sheen. In a rather strange interview with ABC in February of 2011, the actor blasted 2.5 Men creator Chuck Lorre and proclaimed he was not bipolar but bi-winning. He also called Lorre a turd and a clown. During this interview, Charlie Sheen explains that he has tiger blood, and when she asked, the last time he used, he said, I use a blender, I use a vacuum cleaner, but ultimately said he can't remember the last time he used illegal substances. Now, from beginning to end, Sheen seems to celebrate his obvious meltdown, leading many to fear for his physical and psychological health. Despite the controversy surrounding the interview, it gained him further popularity. It gained him further popularity and actually gave the show he once was on the highest rating of the night. Chris Brown. In 2011, his Good Morning America appearance began with a smile, but he ultimately left angry and shirtless. The interview itself is very brief, with Robin Roberts focusing mostly on Brown's past and public image rather than his new album. Now on camera, Brown stays focused and even performs a song. Backstage, however, things went sour when Roberts began the conversation by asking about Rihanna. This interview came 2 years after pleading guilty to charges, and Chris Brown was clearly not pleased that his past kept being brought up. Brown didn't appreciate Robin Roberts prying about his situation with Rihanna and all of the hate that he got for it, so he had a very public meltdown. Brown stormed backstage after the interview, ripped his shirt off, and smashed a window with a chair, causing it to shatter and the shards of glass to fall on the sidewalk outside. Security was reportedly called to the scene immediately, but by the time they arrived, a very shirtless Brown was just headed out the door. Alec Baldwin. While a very popular actor, Alec Baldwin's temper has repeatedly gotten him into a lot of trouble. Back in 2007, Baldwin left a very nasty voicemail for his 11-year-old daughter, Ireland, calling her a thoughtless little pig. The incident was, acted upon a family judge who prevented Baldwin from contacting Ireland. Now, 4 years later, Baldwin got kicked off an American Airlines flight for being violent and belligerent. He had reportedly been asked to put his phone away, resulting in a public meltdown that saw him banging on walls, throwing papers on the ground, and screaming at the stewardess. Now, the incident was later parodied by Baldwin himself on Saturday Night Live. At least he has some self-awareness. Christian Bale. It's clear that this Oscar-winning actor takes his job very seriously, and it resulted in a meltdown for the ages. Bale was filming Terminator Salvation and was deeply angered by the on-set actions of cinematographer Shane Hurlbut. Bale stopped performing and screamed at him in a very lengthy tirade. Bale's flurry of profanity would make Tony Montana proud. At one point, it even sounds like Bale is restrained to keep things from getting physical. Now, this legendary meltdown was captured on audio only, sadly, and discreetly released to the public, where it became a pop culture sensation. Bale later apologized for the rant and said that he had made up with Halbert.
Now, starting off, we have Madonna. Recently, Madonna was captured scolding a concert goer for not standing during a recent show, only to learn that the person was in a wheelchair. "What are you doing sitting down over there?" Madonna yelled to the fan, pointing into a cheering crowd at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. Now, as she marched towards the concert goer, she asked, "What are you doing sitting down?" Now, when she noticed that the fan was in a wheelchair, the Queen of Pop immediately realized her mistake. "Oh, okay. Politically incorrect, sorry about that, I'm glad you're here," she said. Now, that's not all though, as in 2015, when she was in Manchester for her Rebel Heart tour, she was running late. Madonna was defending her lateness though when she did eventually take the stage, launching into an angry rant after being booed. "I don't like being late, by the way, alright? All you blanks who keep complaining about it can shut the F up," she shouted. "I'm not back there eating chocolate, filing my nails, and getting my extensions done, alright? Now, other celebrities have also confirmed that she is just straight up rude, and that's not too hard to believe. Next up is Robert Pattinson. Now, I think it's been pretty clear that Robert Pattinson hates Twilight, but he actually hates the fans too. He, of all people, dislikes Twilight fans more than anyone else, which is just highly ironic. Robert despises everything about Twilight, especially Edward Cullen and how fans label him as perfect. Now, during a Q&A, he said girls stating that his character is perfect are wrong. He believes that Edward is far from perfect, and he personally thinks the vampire's controlling behavior on Bella Swan is quite imbalanced, wrong, and strange. Now, he also makes fun of the Twilight fan group and how it's composed of older women who have nothing better to do with their time than to make comments on the internet about the supernatural romance series. Now, they made him famous though, so I think he should be a little bit more appreciative. Then there's Jennifer Lopez. Now, in 2012, it was reported that Jennifer Lopez had a maid fired from her job, although she repeatedly denies it. Jennifer was staying at the Melia Dusseldorf in Germany, and a maid working at the hotel, Prey Doja, approached the diva's room to get an autograph. Now, she spoke with J.Lo's assistant who denied her, and the next morning, Prey was fired. She said, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone because of an autograph." Now, Jennifer in the hotel denied that she was fired for that reason. The hotel side of the story was that the maid had allegedly barged into the room unannounced, and the singer's security immediately gave her the boot out of concern for the singer's safety. Now, hotel management has since assured J.Lo's people that no one was fired, but the maid company the hotel uses has relocated the maid in question to a different property. Now, Jennifer then addressed the speculation on Twitter, saying, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this, would never get anyone fired over an autograph." Now there's Christian Bale. Harrison Chung was Christian Bale's personal assistant for over a decade, and he wrote the biography Christian Bale: The Inside Story of the Darkest Batman. Now, he said that Christian is often awful when fans approach him. He'd reportedly lecture little girls about being rude and intrusive until tears streamed down their faces and their parents tugged them away from our table, he said. Also, when another fan sent him a letter to his house, he allegedly told Harrison that the fan should be eliminated, and even offered up a suggested method: a screwdriver thrust through the eyeball into the brain prevents any screaming. Let me know how it goes. This is messed up, especially because it had to do with younger fans. Moving on to Adam Levine. As recently as February 2020, Adam Levine expressed remorse over unprofessional behavior during a concert in Chile. Fans could have called him a jerk for not giving his performance the attention it deserved when he and the rest of Maroon 5 took the stage 15 minutes late for their slotted show, but they didn't. They were happy. But then Adam called fans out for singing along to the band's songs. Yeah, he didn't want fans to sing at a concert. But that's not the only criticism fans have of Adam. On Quora, one user posed the question, who are the biggest jerks in music? And the answer surprised many of Maroon 5 and Adam Levine fans. One critic noted that early on in Maroon 5's initial days of fame, Adam made rude comments about fans and even his current girlfriend. Adam was giving out autographs, and he allegedly told a fan that he didn't give autographs to ugly chicks. Though what he said and how exactly he said it can't necessarily be confirmed, many commenters agreed that it sounded a lot like the Maroon 5 frontman's personality. Now, I've also heard firsthand that at a meet and greet, he called a woman fat. Now, that is just plain rude and makes me so angry that he thinks he can treat not only his fans, but women this way too. Now, let's talk about Justin Bieber. Now, Justin Bieber is known for having many mishaps with fans. He's known for canceling meet and greets and acting erratically in public. When a few fans straight up asked him for a hug, he refused, and he reportedly spat on fans who were beneath his hotel room, although his representative claimed that he didn't spit on anyone and that there were no fans below the balcony. Then, one time, when a fan tried to snap a selfie with Justin, he told her that her lack of respect made him sick. Now, he also yelled at fans for talking during a 2016 concert. Not to mention, he has disappointed fans during performances, arriving late, walking off stage, and threatening to break their phones. Speaking of which, he once took a fan's phone and shoved it down his pants. That's no way to treat your fans. Now there's Doja Cat. When a fan on Threads asked Doja Cat to say she loved her fans, she replied, "I don't though, cause I don't even know y'all. Then when another fan chimed in that her fans had supported her through thick and thin, she reportedly responded, "Nobody forced you. I don't know why you're talking to me like you're my mother. B, you sound like a crazy person." Now she also reportedly criticized her fans for naming themselves kittens, writing, "My fans don't name themselves. Shh. If you call yourself a kitten or effing kittens, that means you need to get off your phone and get a job and help your parents with the house." All of this followed Doja allegedly blocking and arguing with fans who called her out for her rumored relationship with J. Cyrus, who has allegations made against him. Now, fighting with your fans online and not being grateful to them is not a good look. Then there's Miranda Lambert. During a recent concert in Las Vegas, Miranda Lambert spotted some fans taking pictures near the stage. Now, stopping in the middle of her song to call them out, she said, "These girls are worried about their selfie and not listening to the song, and it's pissing me off." Now, other members of the audience booed her, and online, more fans called her out for the way she treated the group. Adela Callan, one of the fans Miranda scolded, told Good Morning America, she said these girls are more interested in taking selfies, and then she said sit down. I feel like I'm being back in school, and me and my friends did something that annoyed the teacher, and she scolded us, so she told us to sit down. Everybody was having such a great time. We would stand up at times and dance. It was great energy, but after that happened, it was just, it was not the same. I mean, it is a concert. Let them do what they want. They paid for it. Up next is Russell Crowe. Now, Russell Crowe already has a reputation when it comes to his temper. Now, it's so well known that many stories and articles are dedicated to his violent outbursts at fans, paparazzi, and reporters. In 1999, Russell was involved in an altercation with a woman at the Plantation Hotel in Coffs Harbour. He was caught on camera arguing heatedly with the woman and kissing a man who tried to calm him down. Then in 2002, when part of Russell's appearance at that year's BAFTA Awards was cut out to fit in the BBC's tape-delayed broadcast, he used strong language during an argument with producer Malcolm Jerry. Then later in 2002, he was alleged to have been involved in a brawl with businessman Eric Watson inside the London branch of Zuma, a Japanese restaurant chain. Then in 2015, during a guest appearance on The Late Late Show with James Corden, he stopped mid-song to scold the audience. He said, "If you're going to clap, clap in time. If you can't clap in time, just shut up." And finally, we have Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, Gwyneth Paltrow has her own company called Goop, which is a wellness and lifestyle brand. In 2019, Goop had a UK wellness summit where fans paid $6,000 to meet her. Now, that's just an insane amount to begin with, but paying that much, you'd assume that you'd have a really good experience, right? Well, that wasn't the case for these fans. Those who attended said that Gwyneth hardly made appearances, and when she did, she was surrounded by security. One attendee said, "Gwyneth acts like she's a health goddess, but actually she's a pretentious, greedy extortionist. She had a ton of security, she was unapproachable. She did the minimum, a few fireside chats with Twiggy and Penelope Cruz, then she put on her Birkenstocks and snuck out. I was a huge fan of Gwyneth, now I feel like I have lost my faith in God." Now, those at the event during the weekend were urged to book rooms through Goop at $1,300 for 2 nights at the Kimpton Fitzroy London Hotel, but some later discovered that the rates that weekend started at $250 a night. Now, safe to say, a lot of fans felt scammed and betrayed, and I can't blame them.
Coming in at number 10 today, we have Katy Perry. Have you seen all the drama surrounding Katy Perry and American Idol? Well, if you haven't, let me get you caught up. So recently, a 25-year-old mom who was bullied by Katy Perry on American Idol decided to quit the show while on stage in tears. When Sarah Beth Libby first appeared in front of the judges to perform "You Know I'm No Good" by Amy Winehouse, many viewers criticized Katy Perry and the comments she made during Sarah's audition. Sarah would later open up in a TikTok video in which she described the incident as being hurtful and embarrassing by saying there was a joke that was made that's gotten so much attention, and she then went on to say, "At the start of my audition, before I sang, I mentioned that I had 3 children and I was a young mother, and Katy Perry made a joke that wasn't super kind. Now the mom of 3 has decided to call it quits, and it's not for the reason you might assume." In an episode of the singing contest, she sang Roxanne by the Police before suddenly quitting and telling the judges after finishing her song, "The opportunity is really rad, but this is actually going to be my last performance because my heart's at home. So I'm going to get home to my babies, thank you." With Sarah returning to the stage, Katy Perry would then beg the contestants not to leave, but Sarah stood her ground and left the show. And now we're all wondering if Katy Perry might be replaced as a judge on the show. Number 9. Justin Bieber. Well, we all know Justin Bieber is all about his personal space, and in 2017, he would show his fans that they probably shouldn't approach him and ask him for a selfie or an autograph. While Justin was in Australia for a leg of his world tour, he was approached by a female fan looking to take a selfie on the street, but instead, she would be left in tears. During the encounter, which was filmed and shared on the internet, the singer rebuffed her request by telling her, "Look at your respect level, look at you, you make me sick." In one swift move, he then took some bite of his food that he was holding and got into his car. His Melbourne fan then recalled during an interview on Nova 969, "I took the photo anyways because I thought, when am I ever going to have this moment in my life?" Well, Justin went on to receive some major backlash for how he handled the situation. In a brief dispute, the star seemed to go into digital damage control, uploading more photos of himself welcoming his fans, including a throwback photo of him shaking hands with a young girl on the beach. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Coming back to our list, in the number 8 spot today we have Jennifer Lawrence. Did you know Jennifer Lawrence once made a grown man cry in a bar before? Well, apparently she did, and she even talked about the incident when she appeared on the popular chat show Late Night with Seth Meyers. When Jennifer was in the capital of Hungary for the shooting of Red Sparrow, when she ventured into the bar on a night with some friends, she would be drinking with her company when a fan approached the group and asked Jennifer to take a selfie with him. When the actress declined to take a photo with him, he apparently kept on insisting, to the point Jennifer and her friends had to ask him to leave them alone. Things quickly then took a sharp turn after the man got agitated and said "F you" to Lawrence, which then riled up the star, and she snapped, and she then grabbed her fan, threw a drink in his face, then poured it all over his suitcase, and after her friends stopped her from doing anything else so insane, she then noticed her fan was in tears. Number 7. Miley Cyrus. So Kendall Jenner has been a fan of Miley Cyrus for a while now, so it probably didn't sit so well with the model after Miley Cyrus recently called her out on her mean girl behavior. So at the height of Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber's ongoing feud, after it was revealed that Kendall Jenner helped Hailey Bieber make fun of Selena Gomez in a video, news would shortly start to circulate online that Miley made Kendall cry at the Versace fashion show in Los Angeles. Apparently, like the rest of us, she didn't like the way Kendall and her buddy Hailey were being mean girls towards Selena, and she wanted to call them out on it. So no one really knows what Miley said or didn't say to the model, but not long after the rumor went viral, Selena then posted a selfie and tagged Miley and captioned the picture by saying "Violent Chemistry," which is a song from Miley's new album, and fans immediately started to suspect the post was connected to Kendall's and Miley's confrontation. Number 6. Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire isn't your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and yes, he did play Spider-Man, but that doesn't mean his nice on-screen persona can be found behind the scene, as apparently the star isn't as nice as he seems, especially when it comes to his fans. With there being several reports of the star displaying in some pretty odd behavior when it comes to interacting with any of his fans, he once took things a little too far. When Tobey was walking back to his hotel in Paris, a fan walking right beside him held out a camera in front of the star to snap a picture of his face. Looking annoyed, Tobey then out of nowhere slapped his fan's hand, which caused him to drop his camera, and it shattered on the sidewalk. So as Tobey continued to walk away with his entourage, his fan would be left in tears. Number 5. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj seriously caused some major chaos in 2022 when she had to cancel her meet and greet in London on the spot. When the rapper was arranging to meet her fans at a venue in Camden in midday, the event quickly spiraled out of control after thousands of fans showed up. When Nicki eventually appeared hours later than what was originally scheduled, she was mobbed by the crowd and even had to be escorted back to her SUV before speeding away. In a since deleted TikTok video from the chaotic scene, it would show Nicki pushing a fan while she was attempting to make her way through the crowd to the venue on foot. Despite fans ignoring Nicki's pleas to form an orderly fashion line outside of the venue, Nicki would make the decision to cancel her meet and greet, and then the police would issue a statement saying it was shut down by the event managers due to safety concerns. And as Nicki drove off, fans started to cry and chase her car down the street. Number 4. Britney Spears. Back Back in November 2022, Alexa Nicholas would recall a time Jamie Lynn Spears had her older sister Britney Spears yell at the actor on set to the point she became a crying mess as she recalled all the trauma she had to deal with while working on the Nickelodeon set. During the podcast, Alexa recounted that a talent coordinator told her mom he was taking her to get her hair and makeup done, but instead he brought the preteen to talk with Britney. At first, Alexa was excited because she was a huge fan. She thought Britney was just going to help her and Jamie Lynn work through their problems. But after going into Jamie Lynn's trailer, Britney started yelling at her as Jamie Lynn hid in the back room. While Britney has come out to apologize to the star, Alexa would acknowledge how she was a crying mess and that the show's creator even had to give her a DVD player in order to get her to stop crying so she could finish filming. With Jamie's bullying only getting worse as the set carried on, no one really cared for Alexa since it was called Zoe 101 and not Nicole 101, but I think we can all agree Nicole 101 would have been a great show. Number 3. Lea Michele. When Haley Steinfeld was 14 years old, she was auditioning for True Grit on the Paramount lot. And while she was getting ready to leave, she ran into Lea Michele, who was filming Glee. When Haley walked up to the actress and asked her for an autograph, things quickly took a sharp turn after Lea ignored her and continued to walk by the young actress. A guy then came out of nowhere and told Haley it just wasn't a good time. So as Haley walked back to her car wearing an uncomfortable outfit from the 1800s, she would go on to cry the whole way home. Because she was really upset at the person who's been a main inspiration for her own acting work was so rude to her. At the end of the day, I think we can all agree Lea should have at least greeted Haley and told her it wasn't a good time herself instead of storming off. Number 2. Jennifer Lopez. Back in 2014, Jennifer Lopez would be left cringing after one of her superfans dissolved into tears after being rejected on American Idol. With no content with attempting to win Idol, bubbly Ronald Reed was out on a mission to end poverty by trying to make the world a better place. However, when Ronald caught sight of Lopez, he then sat down to share a tuneless ballad, which sent the judges, including Jennifer, squirming in their seats. To the point Jennifer even told him that his voice wasn't strong enough. Keith Urban then had to take over and tell Ronald that he was really sweet, as Reed searched desperately for his mojo after being belittled by Jennifer, as she made fun of his lack of melody. Reed would then be sent home, while 33 other hopefuls made it through to the next round. And coming in at number 1 on our list today, we have Demi Lovato. Back in 2016, Demi Lovato would come to learn about how she crushed one of her younger fans after she canceled her concert. With Isabella Miklos being 10 at the time, she was looking forward to seeing Demi Lovato perform with Nick Jonas in Virginia Beach. After her family pulled their money together to buy her the tickets for Christmas as a reward for her excellent grades at school, when she found out the concert was canceled due to a scheduling conflict, Isabella would be left feeling utterly devastated. In frustration over her child's unhappiness, Isabella's mother then took to her Facebook to share the images of her daughter looking excited on Christmas Eve when she was given the tickets, to crying in the car after learning it was cancelled. With Demi cancelling her concert just for the opportunity to be on TV, it upset a lot of fans, which is strange since the pop star has always been the one of those few artists which uses her platform to preach about empowerment, and she has so much pride in her work that she's always considered her fans to be her top priority. But then when she canceled her concert to be on TV and said it was a scheduling conflict, it was really just a sad excuse.
Number 10. Rihanna. Riri is a rude lady, according to some of her fans at least. A fan shared their story of a co-worker who experienced firsthand just how cold she can be. They told Hollywood Insider they had won free tickets and backstage passes from a radio concert. When it came time for the co-worker and her kids to meet Rihanna, she was sitting at her makeup booth and just refused to face them. When the young fans asked if they could get her autograph, she instructed a nearby backup dancer to forge her signature before just shooing them away like an actual villain, like, "Oh, you want my love? Shoo." In 2016, she further added fuel to the fire when she shared a photo of a young fan wearing a dress inspired by Rihanna's Wile E. Coyote themed costume that she had worn at an awards show a few years prior. She wrote, "Dark thought rises," with the hashtag PromBat. She shared that post with millions of people, alienating countless fans and ruining one fan's prom memories for the rest of their lives. By the way, I looked it up. If someone calls you a thought, slap them across the face 3 times. Number 9. Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett is an incredible performer, but did you know that she was terrible to her fans? A few years ago, Scarlett was starring in a play on Broadway, and following one of the shows, a small number of fans waited outside the backstage doors in an attempt to get her signature for their playbills. The person who revealed this story on Reddit claims that there were roughly 15 people waiting outside in the winter, freezing their butts off just to get a signature. Every single cast member that came through that door signed everyone's playbills and moved on with their lives, but when Scarlett came out of the door, she completely ignored everybody. The crowd had been waiting for the lead of the show for over an hour, saying it was a devastating blow when she snuffed the crowd and just moved on. This isn't the only time this has happened. If Scarlett isn't on a red carpet event, just don't even try. It's not happening. If you've ever spotted Scarlett in public, maybe just don't pull out your cell phone and aim it at her, because apparently she hates that. Scarlett said herself that she doesn't like to be photographed in general, let alone by some super sleuth fanboy who's standing across the street like, oh, it's Black Widow. Number 8, Justin Bieber. Where do we even begin with this guy? The one-time singer has had a long history of negative interactions with fans since his first recorded incident in 2010. Justin was doing a concert in Toronto, and while staying at his hotel, a large crew of fans began to culminate outside of his building. He took the opportunity to walk out onto his balcony and spit on his fans, over and over again, just dropping loogie after loogie. At the time, his representatives denied that the footage was authentic, claiming that TMZ had superimposed a crowd near Justin to make it appear that he was spitting on people. Not only did TMZ prove that that wasn't true, the multiple cell phone cameras that captured the event just further proved his guilt. Since then, he's been in the news for reckless driving, public intoxication, he bought a monkey and abandoned it at a zoo, and in most recent years, Justin was on vacation in Mexico when he began mooning tourists visiting the historic Mayan ruins. Several fans recounted attempting to interact with Bieber, who refused to not only speak to anyone, but he would actually start mooning them for asking. This all came to a head when Justin announced on Instagram he would no longer be taking pictures with fans, claiming that the experience always just feels dehumanizing. Fans were audibly upset and outraged by the announcement. No shocker there, if Justin just wanted calm, cool, and collected fans, maybe he shouldn't have aimed his talents at younger audiences. Number 7, Sandra Bullock. If you didn't know about this one already, you may see Sandra in a bit of a different light after this. Sandra has been starring in blockbuster flicks since the early 90s, maintaining a steady career starring in everything from comedies to Oscar-worthy dramas. In 2012, however, she went ballistic on a fan for simply asking if he could take a picture with her. And I know what you're thinking, Nate, that's not very rude. It's a very valid reaction to being asked by a stranger if they could take a pic. Well, let me ask you this. What if that stranger was a wheelchair-bound veteran? According to the person who was acting as her assistant at the time, a fan and veteran of the US Army approached Sandra for a simple autograph and just to say hello. But Sandra flipped at the man, covered her face, and yelled at him to leave her alone. Needless to say, the internet did not like that at all and bashed Sandra in any format possible. Now, when you Google her name instead of a poster for Gravity, it's just a picture of a guy wearing camo with the caption, "Why, Sandra?" Number 6, Ariana Grande. Ariana first rose to fame as an actor on the hit Nick series Victorious as the lovable, dim-witted redhead Cat Valentine. Since then, she has gone on to have one of the more successful careers in recent pop history. With all that fame, though, apparently comes arrogance, as she's also known to define the word diva. She once left a meet and greet because she didn't like the way the photos were turning out, and those people paid hundreds of dollars, and she was just like, ew. In 2015, a video surfaced of Ariana visiting a California donut shop. The owners were beyond excited to see her until she started licking donuts and putting them back on the shelves. According to the shop owners, those donuts were never paid for and had to be thrown away. They really should have preserved them though and sold them online. Some people are weird. This incident alone got her nixed from performing at a White House event despite multiple public apologies. The darkest of stories comes from a Hollywood insider and has not been confirmed to be 100% true, but the man in question was working with Ariana at a signing event. She was all smiles until the event was over, and when they entered the elevator, according to them, her first words as the doors closed were, "I hope they all frickin' perish." While we hope that's not true, would it really be all that surprising? I mean, she's hiding some anger, right? Number 5, Madonna. The queen of pop has a reputation for being cruel to her loyal subjects. One Reddit user claims to have seen Madonna signing "FU" instead of her name on fans' posters, but that was apparently not an isolated incident. According to the Daily Mail, Donna berated her fans in 2015 for having the nerve to be upset with the artist for showing up an hour late to her own concert in Manchester, England. She grabbed the mic, called them all impatient B-words, and told them to shut up. If that's not bad enough, she singled out a fan at a separate concert not long after that, and the fan was brought on stage and asked to sing "Open Your Heart" with Madonna. But when she didn't know the lyrics, the pop queen popped off. She said, "Really? You don't know the song? Shame on you." What's worse about that specific ordeal is that the fan was wearing a shirt that literally had the album cover from Open Your Heart printed on its chest. Hey man, if Steven Tyler gave me a mic and said sing Dream On, I'd also forget the lyrics cause hey, Steven Tyler just gave me a microphone. Number 4, Cameron Diaz. Somebody once told me the world was macaroni. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Cameron Diaz broke onto the silver screen starring alongside comedy legend Jim Carrey in his 1995 masterpiece The Mask. Since then, she's had a solid career but hasn't always been busy per se. In the early and mid 2000s, Cameron was casted in several critically acclaimed flicks like Being John Malkovich, Charlie's Angels, and she even lends her voice to Princess Fiona in the much-loved animated series Shrek. Unfortunately, Cameron is notorious for being cold towards her fans, with many reporting that when she does interact with them, it's usually to rant about their actions and why they should just leave her alone. In 2014, at the premiere of her comedy flick with Jason Segel, I can't say the title, you just gotta Google it, few fans were waiting outside the theater to ask Cameron for some photos and a few autographs. When she exited the theater, there were literally like 5 or 6 people waiting. Yet Cameron claimed that she didn't have any time to oblige their requests, and if she did it for them, she would have to do it for everybody. Okay, well everybody in that situation was 6 people, and it would have taken her less time to snap the pics and write her name than it did to rant at her fans and ruin their night. She's been on an acting hiatus for a few years now, only recently coming back into the mainstream with the announcement of her co-starring role in the film Back in Action alongside Jamie Foxx. Good news is she's got plenty of time to sign stuff now cause hey, she's retired. Number 3, William Shatner. I'm getting a strange signal from a planet below. It's a video of William Shatner being a jerk. Captain Kirk has been a sci-fi legend since the inception of the television series Star Trek in 1966, and Shatner himself is considered to be the king of the nerds. Unfortunately, if you are a nerd, Shatner is the high school jock about to give you a wedgie. According to several volunteers from conventions, sponsorship deals, and even some cast and crew, Shatner's just a straight up duck. Wait, no, that's not the right word. Apparently, he has a history of making people cry that are trying to work with him. He's also told fans that if they didn't pose a certain way, that he would refuse to take a photo with them, even if they had already paid up. He's also known to give fans the silent treatment when they forked over hundreds of dollars just to get the guy's autograph. If you've ever paid for a pic or signature and didn't talk to him though, it seems like you might have gotten off scot-free. In 2018, Shatner took to Twitter to update his fans on his policy for signatures. He literally told people to just not ask. He doesn't like to do it in public, so if you don't like it, beat it. Seriously, how could a man who stuttered his way into sci-fi history act like such a bully from the 80s? Hey man, you're not cool enough to get my autograph, you nerd. Number 2, Will Ferrell. Will is actually not a bad guy at all. He's just one of those celebrities that are extroverted on screen, but they're just shy and awkward in real life, and sometimes that can be seen as rude. According to Autograph magazine, Will is the worst when it comes to signing anything. 9 times out of 10, he mocks people, taunts them, and embarrasses them for even thinking that he would sign something. It appears that his awkwardly mean persona follows him on set too. A Reddit user shared a story of spotting Will Ferrell filming a movie near their home. After watching Will for a bit, he spent most of his time in between takes berating staff members, and while he may try to poke at people in a fun way, nothing is fun about an A-list celebrity walking up to you and telling you that you suck at your job. In fact, that sounds like the most stressful thing anyone could do in that position. While there are a lot of stories showcasing Will's good experiences, the bad unfortunately outweigh them all, and he's known by fans across the world as a bit of a jerky turkey. And at number 1, Mike Myers. He's Canadian. He's a comedian. How could this guy be a meanie bobini? Well, it turns out it's his default setting. Mike may be well known in the world of Hollywood as a funny man, but to his fans, he's known as a short-tempered madman. One experience was shared with the media outlet Me and Stars, in which a fan told a story of running into Mike at a bar, with the experience being as disastrous as The Love Guru. Like anything could be so bad. The guy walked up and told Mike he was a big fan and offered to buy him a drink, to which Mike replied, "Hey, I can afford my own drinks, you a-hole. Save the cash for my next movie." There are several instances, both on and off set, showcasing his difficulty working with people. His Cat in the Hat co-star, sorry, I just get weird flashbacks when I talk about that movie. His co-star Amy Hill claimed that that he had handlers dress his entire trailer and his work area was entirely covered with tenting because he just didn't want anybody to physically see him. Maybe his reputation as a difficult Donnie has something to do with Hollywood seemingly blacklisting him from appearing as a lead in anything until his recent show The Pentaverate aired on Netflix. Or maybe it was because he delivered one of the most racist performances of all time in The Love Guru. Yeah, that's probably it.
Number 10. Elon Musk. There have been a few controversies when it comes to Elon Musk potentially scamming his supporters, but I'm going to focus mainly on his stuff as it pertains to Twitter. Oh, what a place. Well, he's done some stuff that has shaken up the market in shocking ways, and Tesla has made some questionable moves in terms of how it markets certain features. Twitter, for me, has felt like one of the biggest scams because it directly impacts everyone on the platform. We're talking about the coveted blue checkmark. We're talking about Twitter Blue, baby. Or perhaps, I guess I should say, the less than coveted blue checkmark now. When Elon Musk bought the platform, one of the first changes he implemented was opening up the checkmark to all. For a price. Initially, he had said he basically wanted to make sure that everyone could access the blue checkmark to easily verify who was human as opposed to, being bots, saying the checkmark should be used for just that, discerning humans from robots. But then he changed his tune somewhat when verification became a money grab for anyone with a credit card. No real verification process seemingly required, at least not as far as I've heard. I have not paid for the blue checkmark, so I don't know. People were so against this policy that people who had checkmarks actually wanted to give them up almost as soon as this was implemented, not wanting to have something attached to their name that makes it look like they endorse this method of verification. They were like, if that's what it's gonna be, then I'm good, I'll just pass. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Beyond the Screen, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up for all those poor people out there that have been scammed that definitely could have benefited from probably hearing this list before they were scammed by someone. Might have been helpful. Number 9. Ezra Miller. Miller once claimed that videos of them involving them getting into an altercation in a bar with patrons who Miller claimed made the first move were taken in part to create NFT crypto art. Although I don't know if any NFTs were actually ever made as a result of those videos that Ezra Miller made when they were being, according to their account, mistreated. Whether or not they did though, this still kind of sounds like a giant scam. Even without any NFTs being made from this content, I always kind of feel like Miller might be scamming us all. Number 8. Jared Leto. Well, really not just Jared Leto, but also kind of the entire band of 30 Seconds to Mars, of which Jared Leto is the main singer. Jared Leto and his band notoriously have an island dubbed Mars Island where extremely devoted fans can go to celebrate their love of the band. Some folks have called this a cult, and based on some pictures we've seen, it seems like it maybe could be a cult. However, based on what I've read, it seems more likely that this island is kind of perhaps a scam? Either something that is orchestrated for publicity or actually a place that people can pay to go that promises a live concert with the band but actually only ends with Jared Leto giving them a speech while kind of dressed like Jesus. Although we won't know for sure what the island truly is like until we can actually talk to someone who is gone, or get an invite ourselves. So Jared, if you're watching this, if you want to invite me, I'm actually down to go to clarify what's really happening on Mars Island. I've never joined a cult before, so I mean, hey, why not? If that is what it is. I don't know. Number 7. Tana Mojo. The resell scam. Tana is no stranger to controversy, but one of her controversies, or perhaps a few, have involved her being called out by folks and fans on the internet who claim that she is scamming people. In one TikTok responding to the issue, user ShutUpDumbBith shows a TikTok of Tana in a set from her own lingerie shoot for her line, Tana is Uncensored. And in the same video, the user also cuts to what appears to be the exact same lingerie set being sold on Shein for $12. Reselling, of course, might not be illegal. In fact, I don't believe it is. But it sure does feel like a scam when the markup is more than 100% in cost. So I understand why people felt scammed by this. Number 6. Khloe Kardashian. You know it's bad when celebrity trainers who have worked with your own family are kinda calling you out. For this point, we're talking about Khloe Kardashian's promotion of flat tummy tea and flat tummy shakes. Though honestly, she isn't the only Kardashian who's guilty of this. The flat tummy shakes that Khloe was seen promoting online a few years back aren't even FDA approved and have no actual medical or scientific evidence cited to back them up, or at least they didn't at the time. When asked to comment, even a trainer who had actually worked with Kim, Sebastian Legree, offered, "There is no magic pill, it's just hard work, discipline, and consistency. The slow and steady approach is the best." Also, y'all don't take diet things, they're dangerous for you. There's a lot of stuff in there you don't really know and it can like mess you up. You might end up worse off than you were before. Just make your body feel good. Eat things that make you feel good. Do motions that make you feel good. That's the best way, I think. Number 5. Gwyneth Paltrow. When it comes to Paltrow, a lot of people mainly take issue with her company Goop and all the expensive products that the company claims are good for your health and your well-being, especially when many of these items are not actually medically or scientifically proven to be good for your well-being. There have been a few lawsuits laid against Goop, and even one in 2018 over eggs that it was selling made of jade and rose quartz that it claimed could be used to boost overall health as well as sexual health. Now, I don't know about you, I personally love collecting gemstones. I love that whole idea. However, I don't know if I would say it's, medically sound. While the lawsuit wasn't won in court, Goop did ultimately decide to settle and was even issued a warning from the courts, an injunction, which basically forced the company to provide scientific proof for any health-based claims it makes in the future. As it should be. You should have something to back that up if you're gonna make a claim, Overall though, I would say that most people know at this point about Goop based on its reputation, but I'm sure there are some out there who are still being scammed, thinking that their products are some kind of miracle cure-all when, they aren't medically proven to be necessarily anything of the sort. Number 4. FaZe Clan. If you aren't aware, FaZe Clan is a massive esports and entertainment group with multiple teams that play professionally, competing in various types of games, from sports to fighting games to FPSs. But while FaZe already makes a ton just based on their fundraising around their teams and their actual success playing in tournaments, and of course their sponsors, they haven't seemingly been content with all the money they earn from all of that. Instead, they turned to seemingly shilling out altcoins, sometimes dubbed as shitcoins on the internet. Now, FaZe isn't alone in this alleged scheme though. You may have seen many influencers or content creators or full-on Hollywood celebs that you follow do exactly this. FaZe took to Twitter a few years back as cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Doge were soaring to endorse a new altcoin, Bank Social. They promised their followers a $10,000 giveaway, which you could enter by following Bank Social online, in addition to liking and retweeting the tweet they put out. Did they ever give away the 10K? Well, we don't really know. I couldn't find any information on it. But what we do know is that while Bank Social initially saw a massive spike following the tweet being put out, it also then plummeted the same day. Ouch. And another FaZe Clan member responded to the tweet, claiming that he had already seen 2 times the growth with his investment. Now, running the numbers, that would actually have meant that he would have had to invest before the coin even spiked, meaning that he maybe timed it so that when the tweet went out, he could make that money. We don't know for sure, but it's interesting timing. That's all we can really say. Number 3. T.I. T.I. is a rapper, musician, actor, and producer, and also possibly an alleged scammer? Well, according to the SEC, the US Securities and Exchange Commission, he is. T.I. ended up being charged in 2020 with fraudulent activity after promoting the sale of unregistered currency known as Flick tokens. I do like that name though, Flick tokens. F-L-I-K. Not only that, but T.I. also claimed to be a co-owner of Flick during this, while in actuality, he wasn't. He also asked a fellow celeb friend to promote Flick on his behalf, and T.I. made himself over $100K on the alleged scam, but was issued a fine of $75,000 after being caught, and also was banned from getting involved in cryptocurrency promotions for a minimum of 5 years by the SEC, or any other digital assets, can't promote them. Oof. Number 2. Logan Paul. Oh boy. So I actually heard about this one through Moist Critical, who actually heard about it through CoffeeZilla, and it's really the main scam on this list for me that I didn't have to look too much into since I was already pretty well versed in it. Alleged scam, of course, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions in this. The long and short of it is that Logan Paul basically planned to launch this app that was called CryptoZoo, which is a game that you play and you can allegedly combine animals and make NFTs, and basically you get crypto through it, allowing you to have fun while you also make money. He seemed genuinely hyped about this project up until its launch, and then the app went live. The app for many fell short of what was promised to them, and at its worst, according to some who used it, wasn't even really functional. CoffeeZilla did a 3-part expose on CryptoZoo calling out Logan, who initially responded with his own video where he also threatened to sue CoffeeZilla for defamation and illegal use of a private conversation before changing his tune. And if you're like, well, legal use of a private conversation is pretty intense, that's true, but CoffeeZilla is also based in Texas, so actually he was fine with that because it's a one party, it goes one way, it doesn't have to be a two-way agreement, so yeah. Number 1. Soulja Boy. In case you were wondering if Soulja Boy is still around and what he has been up to, I can confirm that he is still around, but what he may be up to is allegedly scamming his fans. I'll let you decide though. An internet sleuth known as ZachXBT on Twitter seems to have done some digging and found that Soulja Boy, who in recent years moved from the world of music to cryptocurrency finance, has been promoting a ton of altcoins that it turned out many of which were just straight up scams, so it seems. Not only that, but Soulja Boy also got hit for promoting crypto brands without disclosing to his followers that his endorsement was a paid advertisement. You gotta do that, guys. If you're being paid or you're getting something, you should always tell people and just be honest with them. You can still love something, but be paid to endorse it as well. That's also fine.
Number 10. Rihanna. If you've ever felt the urge to grab someone's clothes, especially a performer without their consent, allow me to inform you why that may be a bad idea. Rihanna is known for many things around the world, mainly her ability to sing and dance, but what many people should know is that she is a Jedi with a microphone. During a concert in 2013 as part of her Diamonds World Tour, a fan at her Birmingham concert decided that she couldn't contain her excitement when Rihanna stepped into the crowd to greet fans while performing her hit single, We Found Love. As she made her way through the crowd, the fan in question reached over her bodyguards and got a grip of her elbow sleeve and started tugging at it. Rihanna was having none of that. She turned to the fan, bopped her on the head with the microphone, and walked back on stage. Apparently calm the entire time, just like, no. Following the slew of anger she received for what many consider to be an overreaction, she claimed that the whole thing was an accident. Yes, because swinging a 5-pound microphone at someone's head happens all the time, right? Number 9. Pitbull. In 2009, a fan made it rain on Pitbull during a concert and he did not have an umbrella. The famous singer was performing at a concert in Colorado when he invites a fan up on stage. The fan was clearly under the influence of something when he was brought up and apparently took the opportunity to make Pitbull look like a fool. The fan whipped out a large wad of crisp dollar bills and fanned them over Pitbull. While it may have been funny at the time, Pitbull was not having any fun at all. After the fans started throwing the money at him, literally comparing him to a dancer of the night, Pitbull understandably told the man to stop before something bad happens. He told him just stop making it rain, to which the man went, "Let's make it pour, baby!" When he didn't stop, Pitbull punched him in the face hard. The man got knocked down, security took him away, and Pitt just kept rapping. He told the crowd that he was a nice guy during the next break to ease the tension, all the while there was some guy gargling his teeth in a hospital gurney. Number 8. Shia LaBeouf. In 2017, Shia LaBeouf had already began making a name for himself as a little bit of a crazy guy, thanks to both his antics on set and his actions beyond the screen. Get it? That's the name of the channel. In 2017, an online art exhibition created by Shia was shut down by a museum in Queens. The exhibition was intended as a rebuke to Donald Trump's presidency. The exhibit hinged on a video camera mounted onto the outside of the Museum of Moving Images in Astoria, Queens. While people were walking by, they were encouraged to participate in the art exhibit by repeating the phrase "He will not divide us" into the camera. This was a 24/7 stream that was supposed to send a message to Donnie, but it instead showed the world just how good of a fighter that Shia was. Shia had made a few appearances on the piece, and at one point a man claiming himself to be something something that I can't say online, but it rhymes with Yahtzee, approached Shia and began spewing his toxic garbage right into his face. And that's when Shia decked the man and knocked him down. Now, I don't condone violence in any way, but that was fun to watch. Unfortunately, the incident had Shia arrested, and it's still illegal to fight a stranger no matter how much you want to. While this dude was definitely not a fan, it deserves to be mentioned that a supremacist got his teeth caved in by Louis Stevens. So, good job. Number 7, Justin Bieber. Where do we even begin with this man? The one-time singer has had a long history of negative interactions with fans since the first recorded incident in 2010. Justin was doing a concert in Toronto. While staying at his hotel, a large crew of fans began to culminate outside of the building. He took the opportunity to walk out onto his balcony and spit on his fans, over and over, just dropping loogie after loogie. At the time, his representatives denied that the footage was authentic, claiming that TMZ had superimposed a crowd near Justin to make it appear that he was spitting on people. Not only did TMZ prove that that wasn't true, the multiple cell cameras that captured the event just further proved his guilt. Since then, he's been in the news for reckless driving, public intoxication, he bought a monkey and abandoned it at a zoo, and in most recent years, he was on a vacation in Mexico when he started mooning tourists that were visiting the historic Mayan ruins. Several fans were counted attempting to interact with Bieber, who refused not only to speak to anyone, but he actually started mooning them for asking. This all came to a head when he announced on Instagram that he would no longer be taking pictures with fans, claiming that the experience always felt dehumanizing. Oh well, no one wants to take a picture with you anyway, Justin. You spit on people. Spit's not fun. Number 6, Tobey Maguire. The paparazzi aren't always grimy little gnomes trying to make a quick buck. Sometimes they're just fans who want a photo op with their favorite actor in the world. After 2003, that actor for a lot of people was Tobey Maguire, thanks to the massive success of his performance as Peter Parker in what many called the first live-action Spider-Man movie, but they apparently forgot about the 1978 Japanese version which is that's fair. That's very fair. It's a bad movie. Sam Raimi's trilogy made Tobey a staple in the world of nerd culture, trying to blend into a crowd of paparazzi to snap a pic with Spidey. Well, Tobey can. In a video released in 2012, Tobey is seen trying to make his way through a crowd of paparazzi. He honks his horn over and over, trying to get them out of his way, but his screams are muffled by the clicks of cameras and some dude yelling his name like, "Tobey!" Tobey covers his face, but is forced to open his window and yell at the man in his way. One cameraman was just a little bit too close to the car though, and Tobey swung the door wide open, knocking him down and his camera back with him. Tobey drove away, but reportedly that fall caused a crack in the lens, and the paparazzi chameleon never got his photo op with Spidey. Luckily, there's like 30 people dressed as Spider-Man on the streets of LA, so I don't know, find all 30 and collect them all. Number 5, Kevin Gates. The famous rapper known around the world, Kevin Gates was forced to do a little bit of jail time following an incident on stage at a concert in 2015. Gates was performing at a club in Florida when a woman reached for him in the front row. Now, anybody reaching at anyone that you don't know is jarring enough, but being in the middle of a concert, his ninja mode kicked in. During a video released to TMZ, a woman is seen simply trying to just grab his leg in excitement like, "Oh my god, I love you!" And his response to that light squeeze was a crane kick to the nose. He just whips his leg towards this lady with full force. The woman he kicked is seen confused and in pain before she starts making her way through the crowd and out of the venue. Apparently nobody saw or cared what happened because moments later the crowd cheers him onto the stage. Not long after that though, charges were filed by the former fan, and Kevin was forced to spend 180 days in Polk County Jail. He was eventually released but was forced to wear a brace on his knee that prevents him from ever kicking someone ever again. Okay, that last part is made up, but that would be very funny. Just like, "Come on, Kevin, come get me." And he... Number 4, Lindsay Lohan. The Parent Trap star got herself trapped in a sticky situation that left her looking like a mean girl. Get it? In 2012, Lindsay was chilling in the VIP section of Club Avenue in New York City when she was approached by a woman named Tiffany Ava Mitchell. Mitchell is a psychic from Palm Beach, Florida, who, according to Extra TV, has been having premonitions about people since the age of 10. She saw Lindsay from across the room and just felt inclined to tell her about the future. Lindsay was neither amused nor interested in what this woman had to say and dismissed her immediately. Oddly enough though, her premonition was super negative. Apparently Lindsay was in for a rough few years, but that never happened. That never happened, right? That never happened, right, Lindsay? Right, Lindsay's parole officer? That never happened. She reportedly got furious with Tiffany and actually punched her in the face while calling her a gypsy woman. She was charged with third-degree swatting. While she was able to see that Lohan was headed for a rocky road, apparently Tiffany did not see that a little tiny fist on Lindsay's arm was coming towards her face. Number 3, Ron Artest. In 2004, while playing for the Indiana Pacers, forward Ron Artest became very heated during a game, to the point that he jumped over the scorer's table during a regular season away game. According to Artest, during that game, a fan had been throwing drinks at him. The crowd was so riled up from the game that they forgot that the players were not only real people, they were real tall and strong people. During a break in the game, Artest just lost it. He crawled over a score table, ran into the stands, and began punching the ever-loving life out of this man. Physical violence is never the answer to a situation, especially one in which your career could be cancelled, which is kinda what happened. While his teammates were very much on his side and defended his actions, the situation forced Ron to forfeit over $10 million in paychecks, and 146 games were lost to suspension. The incident is still considered to be one of the most violent altercations in the NBA history, but Ron did make a return to basketball and retired in 2017, now free to spend his days throwing drinks at anybody he wants. Number 2. Akon. Anyone who has ever done stand-up comedy knows just how badly you want to punch a heckler. Like, hecklers are the worst. They just come in, they ruin the show for everyone, and they think they are the stars. In Akon's case, he did the thing that we have always wanted to do and showed his heckler exactly what happens when you mess with the talent. While performing at an outdoor concert in Fishkill, New York, Akon responded to an obnoxious teen fan in the crowd who had thrown something on stage. He responded by removing his shirt, inviting the fan on stage, lifting him over his shoulders, and literally throwing him into the audience like John Cena dropping the attitude adjustment. While the fan was caught by the crowd and no harm was done, Akon was forced to appear a year later in a Fishkill courthouse to plead guilty to reduced charges brought on by the family of the young fan. The fan actually met Akon outside of the courthouse, and the two cleared up the situation, but the fan's father wanted this man to pay. And that's what he did. Paid $350 to be specific, and he was forced to serve 65 hours of community service. The money was just a gesture, clearly, because he's worth over $80 million. Thankfully, the parents didn't seem to know that, or else this might have ended very differently. Number 1. Will Smith. Yes, Will Smith is on the list of people that hit their fans, but no, it is not for what happened at the Oscars, I promise. Apparently, Will has been swatting and slapping for a long time now. To his credit, he was able to hold back a lot, considering the circumstances. In 2012, during the red carpet premiere of Men in Black 3, Will was taking interviews left and right. One man, named Vitaly Sediuk, a Ukrainian prank star, pretended to be a journalist and began interviewing Will. And I do apologize if I got his name wrong, but at the end of this you probably won't care. While the interview itself is pure gibberish on Vitaly's part, the situation quickly took a turn when he tries to embrace Will in a hug. At first, Will plays along with it and everything is fine, but then Vitaly goes in for a kiss. Smith's instinct kicked in and he threw Vitaly back away from himself. He then asked, "Hey, what's the problem here, man?" and then backhanded him as the crowd roared. In 2012, he was being cheered for smacking someone, and then 10 years later, he was cancelled for doing the exact same thing to Chris Rock. Except Rock was just doing his job in that case. This guy was being an absolute jerk and deserved all the backhands that Will was capable of.